Are you an Audi fan looking to go electric but can't decide between the e-tron and the Q4 e-tron? In this video, I'll perform a side-by-side comparison of the exterior, interior, tech, performance and pricing of these two EVs. I'll show you how they are similar and different so that you can decide which one is right for you. Let's say you're an Audi fan currently driving a combustion SUV like a Q5 or a Q7 and you're looking to go electric. Well, you have two choices from Audi, the e-tron or the Q4 e-tron. The names are similar, so it can get confusing, but in a nutshell, the e-tron is larger and more expensive, while the Q4 e-tron is smaller and more affordable. But the differences go deeper than those quick generalizations, so let's take a closer look, starting with the exterior. Both the e-tron and Q4 e-tron come in regular roof and fastback roof styles. Both also have typical Audi styling cues like the distinctive Audi grille, headlights and taillight design. The resulting design for both models is crisp, clean and stylish. Even the fastback SUVs, which are notoriously hard to pull off, are actually quite well designed and proportioned. In terms of exterior design, you can't go wrong with either the e-tron or the Q4 e-tron. When it comes to dimensions, the e-tron is longer than the Q4 e-tron by about a foot, and the wheelbase is about 6 inches longer. For reference, I'll also show the length of a combustion Q5 and Q7, and you can see how the EVs slot in between their combustion siblings. Compared to their combustion siblings, the e-trons have much improved aerodynamics. Both models make use of features like a paneled underbody, adjustable cooling inlets, and air curtains to improve the aerodynamics. The e-tron, being the more expensive one, also offers digital exterior mirrors to further reduce drag. The result is an impressive drag coefficient of 0.28 for the regular roof and 0.26 for the Sportback in both models. So will the shorter exterior dimensions of the Q4 e-tron result in shorter interior dimensions when compared to the e-tron? Well, when you look at the passenger cabin, not quite. The front legroom is very close, while in the back seat, the rear legroom of the Q4 is about 2 inches shorter. Again, for reference, I'll add in the legroom of the Q5 and Q7, and you can see where they fall. The big difference between the e-tron and the Q4 e-tron is in the cargo capacity. The longer length of the e-tron results in a cargo capacity that is about 15 to 25% greater than that of the Q4 e-tron. The design of both interiors is distinctly Audi, but you begin to see some of the price differences make themselves felt here. The dash of the e-tron is similar to the dash of the more expensive Audis like the Q7, while that of the Q4 e-tron is closer to the one you'd see in a model like the Q5. The e-tron gets 3 screens: the digital instrument cluster, a 10.1-inch upper infotainment screen, and an additional 8.6-inch lower screen for climate controls. The Q4 e-tron, on the other hand, gets 2 screens, a digital instrument cluster, and a 10-inch standard infotainment screen that increases to 11.6 inches in higher-end models. Leather is standard in the e-tron, while the Q4 e-tron gets artificial leather as standard with upgrades to leather, Nappa leather, and Dynamica. As far as tech goes, both these get the latest tech from Audi, although some features are standard in the e-tron but optional in the Q4 e-tron. For example, a heat pump is standard in the e-tron but optional in the Q4 e-tron. The latest in lighting technology, Audi's Matrix LED headlights, are available with both, with the Q4 getting 4 signature options. A head-up display can also be had for both, but it looks like the Q4 e-tron gets the newer technology with augmented reality directions. Adaptive Cruise Assist to maintain speed, distance and center in lane is available for both. But only the e-tron can be had with the cutting-edge virtual exterior mirrors. So that brings us to a performance comparison of these two electric Audi SUVs. Both e-tron and Q4 e-tron come in 2 battery sizes, with the e-tron getting the larger pairing. The 35 and 40 models of the Q4 are rear-wheel drive, while the 50 gets Quattro all-wheel drive. Starting with the Quattro 50, all models of the e-tron are all-wheel drive, with the performance S-Line getting a tri-motor configuration. For range, we'll look at WLTP since we don't have EPA ratings for the Q4 yet. Interestingly, for range, the smaller Q4 does much better than the e-tron, despite having a smaller battery. For example, the Q435 gets the same range as the e-tron 50, which has a larger battery. Yes, the e-tron is all-wheel drive compared to the rear-wheel drive for the Q435, but when you look at a kilometer per kilowatt-hour comparison, the Q4 does much better, even with all-wheel drive. Presumably, the Q4's higher efficiency has something to do with its lighter weight. But while the Q4 might have the edge with efficiency, the e-tron has the edge with performance. The e-tron's motors are more powerful, and the top-of-the-line S model is quite impressive. Consequently, the acceleration times for the e-tron are faster than the Q4, except for the 50 Quattro, where the Q4 has a fraction of a second edge. The e-tron tri-motor also delivers a very quick 0 to 100 time of 4.5 seconds. With peak charging power, the e-tron also gets higher power, except when it comes to the 50 Quattro. The e-tron also has higher towing capacity than the Q4. The e-tron's performance edge continues off-road, where it has a specific off-road driving mode and has published off-roading figures. Don't be expecting to take the Q4 e-tron on any significant off-roading trips. And the e-tron also gets the luxury air suspension as standard. But all this superior performance will cost you. We'll look at prices in Germany, where we have prices for both. The e-tron costs quite a bit more than the Q4, even when you compare the 50 Quattro models of each, which have similar battery sizes and close performance figures. For reference, I'll also add in starting prices of the combustion engine Q5 and Q7. I'm not particularly well informed about the incentives for electric vehicles in Germany, but I suspect that with those incentives, the electric models gain quite a price advantage over the combustion models. If efficiency or a smaller crossover is what you're looking for, the Q4 would be a good choice. But if you're looking for larger cargo space or higher performance, then the e-tron may fit your needs better. So which one would you buy? The smaller and more affordable Q4 e-tron or the larger, high-performance e-tron? Let me know in the comments below. And if you would like me to compare the Q4 e-tron to another competitor, let me know the name of that vehicle too. Please give the video a like, share your comments below, and subscribe to the Driver Download.